Welcome into the MPW Digital Postgame Show, presented by Walk-On Sports Bistreaux. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm Neal. That's Chase. Ole Miss wins 31-26 in a game that started yesterday.
Very uneventful. Just your routine 31-26 laugher in this one.
Yeah, so we'll get you through it. We'll have content up at rebelgrove.com. I'm almost finished with the column. Couple things in the thread I'm already noticing. If you put profanity in it, it's going to censor it out automatically, so no one's going to see your post. It's kind of the way that works. Yeah, crazy game. I did not take a nap today, Taylor. I wish I had, but I had not. We'll get Jeffrey and Brian on in a minute, then we'll get to calls. I think that's what people want to do. I don't even know that I have a ton of overall thoughts to even discuss. I'm kind of interested to hear other people's opinions. Can you text Jeffrey and see if he's ready by chance?
Yeah, sure. Observations up at rebelgrove.com. Just hit the button on that. Probably forgetting a couple, but after that, it is what it is. Everybody's aware of what that looked like.
It was really ugly there at the end. The 20-minute delay there because of the debris being thrown on the field after the spot on the fourth and was it 25, fourth and 27, fourth and 25?
Fourth and 27, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, because look, I'm not even saying Curl's idiot crew didn't call it correctly or whatever, but you've got penalties for almost everything. I don't understand how it's not at least an unsportsmanlike conduct 15-yard penalty when you have to stop the game for 20 minutes. That makes no sense to me in any way.
Agreed. Well, and on a night and a day, frankly, when SEC officiating was at its all-time worst.
Not good today.
They actually got their spot right.
The spot was fine.
I think they got it right.
Yeah. Ball's down by the waist in the left hand at that point. The right arm goes over the line.
And, hey, Wes Rucker and other media people like you, when you're calling for riots with your Twitter account.
He makes it really easy to hate Tennessee.
Yeah.
Because he's not only a homer dipshit, but he also is the guy that wants to act holier than thou with everybody and call everybody else out for what he sees as whatever and defends everything he does. I mean, he literally tweeted he would not blame anyone if they rioted 2 seconds before the riot actually happened. I mean, it's both teams were faking injuries. He started criticizing other media members for mentioning injuries by both teams, and only Ole Miss was doing it. I mean, he was a clown tonight.
Agreed. I'm calling Jeffrey.
He has a weird thing for Ole Miss too. I don't really know what Rucker's deal is, but he's ever since Marshall Henderson hurt his feelings, he's been very anti-Ole Miss, even beyond.
It's a long time ago too.
He's held a grudge.
It's a long time to hold that grudge. Jeffrey Wright, 92.9 ESPN in Memphis, joins us. Appreciate you spending some time with us this late in the evening. I know there's still a game going on. Arizona State leads Utah 21-14 early in the third.
I'm going to ask you this question because you know that I trust you more than any human being in this profession. How do you begin to contextualize this?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been able to yet. Most of my column.
I'm sorry if you're writing your column. I wasn't trying to my first question was, oh my God, how do you put this into context?
Well, I was building my column before that happened about Corral, about just what I thought was like this gritty, gutty performance with all of these people hurt. I mean, he doesn't have Braylon Sanders, who I was told this morning. I'm like, hey, man, he is shoulder, knee. He's just being held together by tape. He's not going to – as soon as he gets hit, he's going to be out for the game. And sure enough,
yep, that was accurate.
They don't have Caleb Warren. Rhodes, his backup, got hurt. He's out. They were going with Cedric Melton, who's a really athletic kid at guard, but has a lot of work to do. They didn't have I think Dontario Drummond is hurt, playing hurt. Who else did they not have? They don't have Jonathan Mingo, obviously, and I don't think they're going to get him back. They didn't have Chase Rogers. They don't have Hudson Wolf. I don't think they're going to have Hudson Wolf this season. I mean, it's what I wrote about was before the season, and I haven't even published it yet, but I will in a minute. Before the season, Lane Kiffin, if you ever asked him, like preseason camp's really funny. You've covered it. You know what I'm talking about. Everyone is generally writing positive stories. And so questions
they haven't played a game yet.
Yeah, so questions are always kind of phrased in these real positive ways. And you can get coaches on teams, even of teams that the coach knows, hey, there's a decent chance we're going to suck. Everything comes out super positive. And Lane Kiffin, to his everlasting credit, throughout the month of August, over and over and over would answer a question and then go, but, I'm concerned about depth.
Yep.
I'm concerned about depth. I'm worried about if we have an injury here or an injury there.
And by the way, you didn't even mention offensive line depth.
Yeah. And so sure enough, all those injuries have happened. And tonight, kind of they had to lean on Matt Corral to just sort of
just make it happen.
I don't know what the word is. I started to say babysit them through a game and with 100,000 people, and it was loud.
Y'all agree, I know that y'all lived through it with me. Y'all know how I felt about Johnny Football in college. He's the most special player I've ever seen. When you consider size, like Cam Newton is a special football player, but Cam Newton is touched by God. Matt Corral is a special athlete, but he's closer to Johnny Manziel than he is to Cam Newton. And as I was trying to watch this game and to think about what we were going to talk about, the two things that popped into my mind were, I hope Lane credits his defense, because I thought those guys made plays all night. And holy hell, number 2 looked like number 2. And I mean, Corral looked like Manziel. It was the Ole Miss game against A&M in Oxford where Ole Miss was probably better for most of the game, but he just made play after play. He extended play after play. And it was like a continuation of the other 2 games for Corral that it stood out to me, where the LSU game last year when they had nobody, and the bowl game when they were just so completely limited. And I just found myself dropping my jaw. Like, I love how Tennessee fans were sitting there going, how do you not know that he's running the football? Tennessee did know he was running the football. He's that good. And it was that special of a performance. And I know he doesn't finish with 200 yards because of that last play. But, I mean, holy hell, to throw for 200, run for 200, let's be real. You just don't – that's the type of performance that you only see once every couple of decades. I mean, I was trying to pick my jaw up off the floor. I just found myself thinking, you know what? This guy deserves every accolade he's going to get, and I hope he gets all of them.
Quick aside here, because we're not done with Corral. Kiffin's leaving the field and has a hell of a one-handed catch on a water bottle that's thrown right at him as he's walking through the tunnel.
No, that wasn't the best toss. Did you see the toss of the visor?
Yeah, and then he throws his visor to the Tennessee crowd as he's going under the tunnel. So,
did you see my joke on Twitter about the golf ball?
I did not, no.
Only Tennessee fans would throw a yellow Volvic. At least Ole Miss fans would have thrown a Pro V.
It's a good throw, though. I mean, right at him.
I'll say this. My wife hates Jordan Rodgers with a passion. Jordan had 2 great lines tonight, and one of which was, that guy definitely did yell 4. No, that was a good line. I tip my cap. I believe in keeping your wife happy, and I would very much like to keep my wife happy. Got to give credit where credit's due. That was a hell of a line.
You can't win it at the halfway point, but Corral, your Heisman vote if you had one right now?
Well, I mean, he was my Heisman vote for the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
He's the only good quarterback. I'm quarterback biased, and he's the only good quarterback.
I mean, Bryce is going to get votes.
You could actually tell me. So
his stats are really, really good.
Yeah, but I'll tell you who else is going to make noise, in my opinion, in the next 6 weeks. Look out for C.J. Stroud, because they figured out the formula for him. And when Ohio State figures out a formula and they get into Big Ten play, he's going to put up overwhelming numbers. It's going to come down to Corral. If they keep winning, I don't think they're going to be able to avoid giving it to him. He's that good.
What's that mean? 9 or 10?
I think, so my question was, does that mean 10 or 11?
Well, if it's 11, they're
11, he wins.
11, but 11, they're not getting.
Yeah, I mean that takes.
They're not getting to 11.
Well, but that's what I said. If he keeps winning, so if they go 11-1, which, I mean, here's the deal. I would bet against it. Obviously, if you're giving me 11-1 or 10-2, 9-3, I think I'd probably bet 9-3. But the reality of the situation is, this is what Neal and I talked about on Wednesday or whatever. I don't know. I think it aired on Thursday. Ole Miss is probably going to be favored in every game the rest of the way.
except Auburn. They won't be favored there.
I think they could be.
Well, that's one of the things I just wrote was I don't even think we can look ahead. Like I wrote about LSU and Auburn, and I said I don't think you can write about November yet. And I know November starts with Liberty
but
and with
also can I make my overall point? I've always said this: the last thing you want to be is the Heisman winner in October. Like if you go back like the last 20 years, the guy that was expected to win the Heisman in October, I think he's won like basically twice, and he kind of won by default. So I think if you're Corral, you don't want to be that guy. Let Bryce Young, let C.J. Stroud be that guy, or the running back from Northwestern whose name escapes me, or not Northwestern, Michigan State, whose name escapes me. But if you're Corral, like in the end, guys, how many other teams have a better quarterback than him? It was what I kept telling my wife when she kept saying, they're going to lose, they're going to lose, they're going to lose. And I said, y'all, I've watched enough football to know this. The team with a better quarterback wins way more than they lose.
And they benefited a lot from to Lane's credit, again, Lane has talked about the importance of Jake Springer.
He looked like it tonight.
And Jake Springer made a monumental difference.
My dad called me last night, and he's like, so what's up with Springer? And I go, hey, Dad, remember how when Tony Connor got hurt, you thought the Ole Miss defense was done? When Springer gets hurt, that's what it means for Ole Miss's defense. He's that guy.
Not sure what happened there. You back, Jeffrey?
He's that kind of player, man. And I think outside of Corral, he's the most important player on this entire team.
It'd be him, Chance Campbell, Nick Broker.
I think he's more important than Chance because Chance has played every game. And didn't you notice a noticeable difference between the defense tonight?
Well, that's true. Yeah, he gives them, and he also lets them move Reese, where I think Reese can be more.
Well, and more importantly, think about: would we agree the best two halves that Ole Miss have played defensively have been the first half against Louisville and then the first half tonight, and that's the two halves that he was the most good to go, if you will.
That's fair.
That's more than fair. Yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of again. Also, 35 and 33, Johnson and Robinson. Those kids played phenomenally.
Yeah, I thought Robinson was incredibly good tonight. I mean, he was
awesome.
He was good. Sam Williams was pretty consistent all night.
Fantastic. Sam Williams made at least 2 or 3 tackles where if he doesn't make the tackle, that was awesome. Also, can we give a quick shout out? We're 100% confident Joe Milton, who's the biggest sourpuss of all time, he definitely had Ole Miss 2.5, right?
Yeah, what are you doing there? I mean, just mentally, how is that what you end up doing on the last play?
You've got to throw it into the end zone.
Just throw it. I mean, who gives a damn what it happens to it? Just throw it. Because as soon as he lost the line of scrimmage, it took a second to even register to me. I went, oh, my God, he's just running.
Not only was he running, Ole Miss dropped 9.
I mean, I halfway expected him to throw the ball after he crossed the line of scrimmage in a panic.
I agree. Like, at first, like, when he crossed the line, you're like, oh, he just forgot where he was. No, he was just – he thought, hey, it's an untimed down.
And now he gets to potentially start against Alabama next week because that kid's ankle did not look good.
That did not look good. But if you're Josh Heupel, don't you want Joe Milton starting against Alabama?
Yeah.
I want Hendon Hooker playing against Kentucky, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, and USA. Those are the games I want him playing.
Apparently, I'm getting texts from people coming in that Ole Miss fans were being absolutely pelted by things leaving the stadium and in the stadium, that dads are having to cover their daughters and kids up just trying to get them out of the stadium.
Listen, I know everyone's doing the you're an old man and what are you saying, ban night games. I'm not saying that, but I think it's time to get serious about some of this stuff, right? You know that you play this game. This game was started after 7:30 Eastern time. It was 7:35 Eastern or whatever when they kicked. You know that college football games these days are going to last 4.5 hours.
Well, this one even in particular, the first half took over 2 hours.
Yeah, it was. So I told Chase when he came in, I said these games last too damn long. I can tell you as someone who watches a ton of games, this one was an exception. Like they last too. I agree. You and I have been on the same page forever. Like the NFL rules need to apply, but this one was even exceptional in terms of college football.
Because the first half was like 2:20 or something. I mean, it was.
It wasn't quite that long. It was like because the second half kicked off, I think at 1:56.
Okay.
So we were like, it was basically 2 hours and 1 minute for the first half. But the bigger deal is, like, if you're going to police it, Neal, like, here's the choice. Do you want to stop selling alcohol at these games?
I just think you got to start moving some game times up. I think the 7:30 time slot's too late. I do. I think the games last too long and the stadiums are too drunk.
But we can't. No, I agree with you. But we also can't talk out of both sides of our mouths. We know that in the end, everything is driven by television.
Sure. And
television is going to dictate this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we do have to accept that, yeah, there's a reason why college football was traditionally always played earlier to early afternoon. Like, the 2:30 game was the late game, and then they started putting games in primetime. They started going, holy cow, can you look at the ratings? Like, it's just,
yeah.
I don't know what the answer is, because one thing we can't accept is they're not going to move these games out of this window. Like, you know what I mean?
No, I agree. Then you got to start thinking about ways to speed the damn game up. I mean, four and a half hours is too long. It's too long.
I'm sorry, y'all. Just wind the clock.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Play NFL rules, something. 4.5 hours is too long for a game. And here's the thing. Everyone's going to say that everybody was faking injuries. They weren't faking injuries. They were all cramped. Ole Miss ran 102 plays. Is that right?
It was over 100.
They ran 60 because Neal, how dare you? They ran 101. But they ran 61 in the first half.
And Tennessee ran 81 plays. Is that right?
I don't know.
79.
79 plays. So the two teams combined to run 180 plays.
Correct. And yes,
that's an insane.
If you run
number.
180 plays, you don't cramp. You just fake injuries.
It's an insane number of it. Just there's. I don't know. Anyway,
Jeffrey,
that's a subject for another day. Probably.
How proud were you today of Neal's alma mater knocking off Malik Willis and the Flames?
First off, have we gotten post-game quotes yet?
I haven't looked.
We haven't, but I did change the helmet. Look.
Do we think? Are we pretty sure Liberty lost a lot of one-on-ones?
I mean, God, we could have set up like a college game day thing. We have both helmets of that game today.
Yeah.
We could have put those son of a guns right there together, Liberty and ULM.
So I was trying to think what he said. First off, the first thing, it's either we lost a lot of one-on-ones. Is Kent still his offensive coordinator?
I have no idea.
I don't have any idea. Here's what I actually had it on my computer. And
he threw a pick. He threw a pick.
Yeah, their offense is just Malik Willis and
this is what drives me insane. I will not drop the F-bomb, but F Pro Football Focus, who I actually respect. Guys, Hugh Freeze, who is the most pass-happy human being that's ever lived, literally throws him 21 times a game. Doesn't that tell you that he doesn't trust him to throw?
Is that really all it was?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, they ran him a bunch.
Wow.
So these people that are acting like he's going to be the first quarterback drafted, they play literally the softest schedule in the entire United States of America, and he won't even throw him against those teams. What does that tell you about him as a passer?
I mean, somebody will take him, late first?
Well, it's a bad quarterback draft.
Yeah.
People always just draft quarterbacks, so yes. But, my deal is, I thought, honestly, if we're just speaking candidly, I did not think Matt played well tonight in terms of throwing the football. You look up at the half, and Matt's still thrown for 150.
Yeah, today was the first day that he had a couple of accuracy issues. Today was the first day that he actually forced a play, and it resulted in an interception. He just was going on he just didn't have you don't have Braylon, you don't have Mingo, you don't have Rodgers, and Rodgers is a really big part of that offense because the tight end is a big part of the Lane Kiffin offense. They were fortunate.
And also credits to Casey Kelly. That kid's clearly
played a hell of a game tonight.
He did. He played really well. All three running backs played well. They got something out of all three backs. They needed all three of them tonight, and they got something out of all of them. Big kudos to Dennis Jackson, who they've been begging him, please make a play, and tonight he makes a play. So they survived it. It's just one of the things. It's the storyline on Monday and Lane's not going to talk about injuries. but
they're in trouble next week.
They got injury issues, and going against LSU.
Did you see LSU's game plan this week?
Run.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's going to be that's their plan this week too. They're going to run.
Max Johnson threw the ball 21 times.
Yeah, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to try to just run the football.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't. Go ahead, Jeffrey.
In fairness to Ole Miss is going to sit there and look and see what we've got. And unlike Dan, who tried to get too cute today, which is typical Dan.
Yeah.
Ole Miss is just going to keep running the football, and that's how you beat LSU.
Yeah,
you just run at them. Like they may make a play. They've got some athletes. Like do not dismiss the fact like they're not an incompetent team from a talent perspective, but Ole Miss is going to keep running the football. And I expect a game very similar to the bowl game.
Don't you think it's a little different game? And I hate to pick on one kid, but it's a little different game if Ja'Cour Pearson hangs on to.
I didn't want to fillet him, but yes, I do.
Yeah, I do too. I think Ole Miss had a chance to not.
I think that game could have been exactly what you and I, when you came on my show on Friday. I think that game could have been exactly what we talked about, which was Ole Miss wins by a couple scores.
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought too. Hey, we'll talk to you again soon. Appreciate you.
All right, guys.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause that's the thing. I mean, Corral's stats were what they were, but Pearson drops that ball down the goal line that would have been around a 50-yard completion. Ole Miss doesn't score on that drive. It wasn't a perfect throw, but Braylon Sanders should catch the pass on that first series that he put a hand on in the end zone. I mean, that should be a touchdown. Yeah. I mean, Corral's numbers could have been even a lot better than they were just because of the drops. I mean, you look at it, and it was. I think they came into the day with 4 drops on the season. They had 5 at one point through the third quarter. So that's what the receivers did today. Just not much. I mean, Corral was having to figure it out with the skin of his teeth. I mean, you look at it. Henry Parish caught 5 passes for 19 yards. Casey Kelly, 3 for 31. Snoop, 3 for 25. Drummond, 2 for 66. Danis played pretty well, actually, but 2 for 42. Pearson did catch 2 for 20. Ely, 2 for 11. Braylon, 1 for 17. And Plumlee, 0 for 1 target. I mean, not much there. I mean, that was Corral just trying to find anything in the passing game.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was kind of rough.
It was kind of outback bullish.
Then you look at rushing. Corral goes for 195. Other than him, though, Parish 10 for 41, so average 4.1. Ended up being a decent day. 15 for 24 for Snoop, only 1.6 per rush.
Yeah.
And Ely 7 for 19, 2.7 per rush.
I'm gonna give Ely and Connor credit for this. They both had a couple of times. They both had really good downfield blocks.
Ole Miss did one heck of a job. I wrote about this in the observations with them downfield and just, frankly, the entire offense improvising on blocks beyond what the play called for because of what Corral was doing. I mean, because they talked about it on TV, but it's so true. Squaring up a guy in the open field to block him is almost damn impossible, and they did it really well 5, 6, 7 times. Plumlee came back in a couple times and got some crackback blocks that were legal. There was a lot of downfield blocking where at times it was just kind of Corral playing backyard football and finding ways to get it done. Because I mean his pump fakes were so effective to freeze guys at that second level and then kind of find some juice there running the football. So
is Brian available?
Yeah, he said give him 2 minutes, so
okay.
I'll give him 2-minute warning. He's off in the middle of nowhere, so we're going to give him a second. Then we'll. Mark Robinson, 14 tackles tonight, including 12 solos to lead the Rebels.
He was really good.
Jake Springer, 11 tackles, 7 solos. Chance at 8. Otis at 7. Sam at 7. Sam with 2.5 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks. Cedric Johnson got a half sack when he and Sam met at the football. Mark Robinson, 2 sacks. Springer a sack as well. So I mean, just a ton there for Ole Miss. 5 total. It was just the 1 turnover. No, 2. The fumble loss for Tennessee, and then the interception for Corral. By Ole Miss by quarter. The fourth quarter obviously got bogged down in a number of ways, but the first 3 really consistent. They had 143 yards in the first quarter, 170 in the second, and 141 in the third. Caden Costa 1 for 2 on those field goals. I mean, that 44-yarder never really had a chance. It was kind of bungled all the way through.
Well, the snap was
snap
bad. It was low, and I don't know if they ever even got a real.
Mike Brown kicked the crap out of it tonight.
He did.
3 inside the 20, 2 for more than 50 yards, including. I mean, it wasn't his fault on that return. I mean, he outkicked his coverage, but it was a hell of a kick.
I'm editing.
The notebook.
Yeah.
Ole Miss just sent out a ticket plea over emails.
Just let me know when he's ready.
Yeah.
We're going to get y'all's calls in a minute. We'll get Brian, and then we'll open up phones, and God only knows what that's going to be like. At least you can't throw stuff at us. That's 2 games in a row where the ball is potentially in the air.
A play is going on in the red zone as the game ends. I mean, It was popcorn a week ago. They'll probably do like some golf ball giveaways or something Saturday. Yeah.
Well, that'd be more expensive than popcorn.
That would, yes. You can go ahead and try. If we don't get him, we'll just try again. Right. I mean, I'm looking at it now. I mean, Corral, just quick math. I mean, he had 426 total yards.
Yeah, it's kind of what he does. I mean, he's carrying this team. I mean, you saw what happened when he went out for a play. That was almost chaos. All right, I've got it here. Hold on.
Okay.
It's the 601 number, correct?
It is, I assume.
Yeah. All right, we're going to get Brian on, and then we'll go from there.
What's up?
Oh, just hanging out, talking to a few hundred of our closest friends. You called from a Porta-John last week, so where are you this week?
I am in the middle of a pasture in southeast Texas. I'm about 40 miles south of Tyler, and the reason I cannot tell you where the closest place is because the closest town, I think, is 25 miles away, called Athens, Texas, which I'm sure you have all heard of. What's up?
Oh, nothing. Reading some press conference quotes. Nick Suss asked Lane Kiffin what all he got hit with other than the golf ball. He said, quote, bottles filled with some brown stuff. Probably wasn't moonshine. I don't think they'd waste moonshine on me. So Kiffin there with that. Were you able to see him catch the water bottle and toss the visor into the crowd? I mean, it was pretty athletic, a couple moves there before he headed under the tunnel.
So I missed the visor toss, but the pocketing of the golf ball was pretty natural. So I'm sure the guy that threw that had probably played earlier in the day, and he was not going to lose whatever that ball was to the leaves. He was in full-on fall golf mode. And then Kiffin kind of pocketed that thing pretty naturally, like he had an extra ball in his pocket to take 2 off the first.
What was kind of going through your mind during that final 54 seconds while they were trying to get everybody cleared? I mean, there for a while, I'm thinking, okay, it's at least got to be a penalty. And then when the ADs huddled up, I mean, they obviously didn't, but I spent 5 minutes thinking they were going to call that thing.
I never actually got to the point where I thought they were going to actually in the game. I guess it maybe crossed my mind, but at the same time, with Tennessee having 3 timeouts left, I didn't figure that would happen. If they had one or something that was pretty much irrelevant other than Ole Miss running one actual snap, maybe so. But I never actually thought they would end the game. But it was a weird scene. It was kind of ugly. I didn't think Ole Miss did. I mean, I don't really know what you do in that situation, right? That's kind of second-guessing central. Like, you run the ball 3 times. If you throw it and it's an incomplete pass, you look like an idiot for not making them burn a timeout. I don't really know what you do in that situation, but it wasn't pretty. I would say the biggest, gripe I had with that, why was the ball not punted out of bounds? Why would you give Tennessee a chance to run the ball back? Because, I mean, Mac Brown's a pretty good punter, but even if he halfway shanks that thing, it's at worst the 25, and they have 75 yards to go with however many seconds it was. That was the most surprising part to me, that the ball was not punted out of bounds.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair because, I mean, it was kind of putted in the middle of the field. Just kick the hell out of it and see how far you can kick it. I mean, I guess you trust your guys, but special teams mistakes happen more likely than somebody going 80 yards in 40 seconds or whatever without any timeouts at that point. Ole Miss obviously incredibly banged up on offense, all kind of stuff. We were talking to Jeffrey a minute ago about Matt Corral. I mean, it's probably going to be kind of redundant, but just thoughts on a dude who I kind of likened it to backyard football. He just kind of made it happen all night despite drops and everything else. I mean, any other quarterback in the country, and they probably lose today.
Yeah, I don't think you could have encapsulated that bit any better. I mean, it really felt like, particularly watching it on television, it felt like a guy just kind of lugging along a bunch of beaten up parts and, guys that weren't necessarily ready to play and just kind of dragging them to victory. I don't really know how to overstate how Matt Corral played today. He ended up with 20-something carries. I don't know if he got to 30, 195 yards. I mean, he rushed for 200 yards, right? I mean, at least 5 of those got brought back probably because of sack yardage.
We lost 5 on that last play when he slipped down. He was at 29 for 200 on the dot before that.
That's unbelievable. I mean, it was unreal. I don't really know how to articulate how well he played. I mean, he was literally dragging along a bunch of guys that just they were banged up, like you mentioned, and they weren't really cohesive. And Ole Miss scored. I think some of it, honestly, is probably a credit to Kiffin and Levy too. I mean, the offensive line didn't seemingly play pretty well. I always kind of do that with hesitancy because I'm not an offensive line savant. I don't really understand what constitutes good play and bad play, but it did not seem like they played pretty well. And Ole Miss was still kind of functional offensively, but kind of, I guess the next step to that is exactly what you said. If they have another quarterback other than Matt Corral tonight, they lose. He was unbelievable, and you talk about a guy willing a team to victory. It was the epitome of that. And what's crazy about this, everyone kind of wants to talk about the Heisman run or whatever, and if he's still in the conversation after the Alabama game. It's kind of coming in the strangest ways, right? It's not him scoring a touchdown with 9 seconds left or something to win a game or making some ridiculous play where Ole Miss scores with 10 seconds left. It's him dragging along a bunch of dysfunction is probably a strong word around him, but kind of dragging along a lot of parts that are lagging around him and willing his team to even have a chance to win, right? This ain't even really coming in the last minute of games. It's what he's doing in the 45 minutes in between is what's so amazing.
Look at Corral's overshadowing everything here, and we've talked about the defense. We've talked about Jake Springer a little bit, but just overall, Tennessee only scored 26 points. I mean, 12 in the first half. Defense played incredibly well. Springer did make a ton of difference. They got pressure on the quarterback. They really took advantage of the Mays kid going out there at tackle. I mean, Tennessee was banged up and lost with the backup there at right tackle. But, I mean, overall, you would have taken this coming in 10 times out of 10 from the defense. I mean, all the way around, they tackled better tonight. They got pressure. They broke up some passes down the field. They looked back for balls. Other than a couple dumb penalties, the defense did everything you would ask of them to because they're not going to be a top 25 defense. They're not going to suffocate you ever. But they just kind of executed all night long and kept Ole Miss in this thing, even when it kind of bogged down there at moments. I mean, it was a pretty special performance. I mean, in some ways, Tennessee was overrated because of how bad South Carolina and Missouri potentially are. But at the same time, that was an offense that scored 60 on Missouri. It was an offense that scored 40-something on South Carolina. And Ole Miss did kind of handle them for a lot of the night.
Can't argue with that. They got 4 stops in the first half? Is that right? I mean, when's the last time an Ole Miss defense has gotten 4 stops in the first half? I mean, I guess it was probably that Memphis game in 19, but does that even really count? It hasn't happened a ton in SEC play over the last half decade. I would agree completely. I guess they're not exactly the 85 Bears. I mean, they gave up 23.5 yards when they were able to give up 24 or 23 3/4. I don't know, but they did what they needed to do. But you're exactly right. And I'm not even sure. Last week I kind of made the point that the offense didn't necessarily capitalize when the defense gave them advantages. And I'm not even sure if it was as much as that this week, other than just kind of the way the game played out, right? Tennessee was able to score 10 points without Ole Miss being on the field. And Ole Miss offense went a long time without actually possessing the ball. And, it came down to it. This happened twice. I thought the Ole Miss defense needs to get one more stop, and then they got it. And then it happened again, and they needed to get one more stop, and they got it. So credit to them. I agree. I think they played pretty well. I think that's about as good a defensive performance as you're going to get. You mentioned the Springer aspect. Again, it'll help kind of going back and watching the game tomorrow before we do the podcast, but I thought he made a gigantic difference. He was at the line of scrimmage a lot. He seemed to get a decent bit of pressure when they did blitz him. I thought, they made a big deal out of him not being available, and that's, you can always kind of wonder, is that them just talking or is that them making excuses? But it seems like he is a very important player on that defense that we had not seen since game one, and you could tell the difference he made in the game tonight.
It's also worth mentioning Ole Miss held the ball 34 minutes and 9 seconds. They hardly ever win time of possession, but it was 34:09 to 25:51.
Is that right?
And Ole Miss
they did run 101 plays.
They did. And Ole Miss defensively, frankly, got
101?
Yeah, 101.
Yeah, 101 plays.
They got tired
Seems
there
like
in
a
the
lot.
second half because Tennessee ended up rushing for a pretty good bit. They had 175 yards in the fourth quarter. I mean, Tennessee did not run the ball effectively at all through three quarters, but depth got to Ole Miss. They started lagging a little bit. They had some little more harder time containing there late, and that turned into some rushing yards. And I'm looking at it here. I mean, in the fourth quarter, Tennessee went 20 rushes for 118 yards.
Does that speak to them not trusting their quarterback, though? Because I thought that, the Hendon Hooker had looked pretty good against a couple of bad defenses, but to me it seemed pretty evident they did not trust him to make plays when he needed to make plays. Because they ran it, like you mentioned. I mean, Ole Miss gave up 250-something yards on the ground, but Tennessee ran the ball 50 times, and it just seemed like every time they needed a Matt Corral type play, and that's probably not necessarily fair, but their quarterback to make some sort of play, it didn't seem like they trusted him. I don't know if y'all agree.
He was bad down the field. He was bad down the field, and they couldn't protect him. So it was a little bit of both. But, I mean, look, he's far better than Milton because, I mean, that was one of the more brain-dead things I've seen there toward the end of the game when he was trying to run again against 9 guys drop back. I mean,
Look, he ran out of bounds to stop the clock.
Well, he did. That's a good point. He did run out of bounds to stop the clock. He was trying to be productive.
Well, there's a reason he's not the starter.
Do you have, cars passing you on the 2-lane road out next to the pasture?
That was just one car. That was actually the only car I've seen in the entire time I've been 20 miles south of Athens, Texas. So I'm glad there is civilization, I guess. I'm looking at some kind of cow. I think this is a cow. It's some sort of beast. I hope it's not anything more aggressive.
So
yeah, we're gonna let you get in the car and get to wherever you're going here in a second, so you can be safe.
Yeah. We're outside of said bunkhouse. This is a golf resort type of thing, technically. It's a nice golf course, but it's in the middle of nowhere. So I am where I am. We're just lucky we got service here.
So LSU 49, Florida 42. Just kind of first thoughts on next week to let you go.
Was not able to watch a ton of that game earlier today, but is that just kind of the classic Ed Orgeron win one for the Gipper? I don't understand.
They ran the hell out of it.
LSU ran for 287 yards. How is that not a fireable offense for Dan Mullen on the spot?
Well,
God.
Thank you, because this is the part, and we're not going to do it tonight. We'll do it this week, though. Dan Mullen's got a lot to answer to from that game. Jeffrey's right when he says they tried to get cute, and they've now lost some games this year, and they're going to lose more games. The whole Florida as an elite team thing is a joke. They're not.
At all.
Florida would not finish in the top 5 in the SEC West.
I mean, they ran Central Michigan. They ran for 78 yards against Central Michigan. Like, how did they get to 287 with the more banged up roster?
I don't know.
Yeah, I got nothing. I mean, I watched a little bit of the game, but, I mean,
Credit to LSU, they played really hard.
Yeah.
I was flipping back and forth between that and Auburn, Arkansas, and LSU played really hard.
Does that change anything with Ed at all?
No, it just buys him more time.
But
As in, like, he makes it to November before he's fired?
Yeah, I think so. I think potentially. I mean, look, he could go to Ole Miss next week and get boat raced, and they still have the open date, and they could do something.
Was the Auburn-Arkansas a little bit of a low-key shocker? Because I thought Arkansas would kind of rolled them, particularly being back and favorable for the first time in basically a month. That was a little surprising to me.
Arkansas played them well for a while, and then they kind of lost their cool, and Arkansas got super worked up about the officiating, and it let it get in their head, and I think it affected the way that they played, and then Bo Nix was terrific today.
Good for him.
Yeah. Hey, be safe. We're gonna open up some phones here and see what happens.
Sounds good. Y'all be good. Have a good night.
Bye, Brian. That's Brian Rippee. Appreciate both Jeffrey Wright and Brian Rippee for their time.
Before we get started, Mark, appreciate you as always for watching and the big super chat. How'd golf go on the weekend? Does that happen today? How'd everybody play? He said, "Gentlemen, we love you. Guess the $5 a day weren't enough." Yeah, you knocked it out of the park. Appreciate you as always, bud.
Thanks to Bobby Gray. Let's see.
CW, appreciate it.
Will Fry, I saw him a couple times.
Sammy going with a 31-26.
Saw
Clever
that.
there on that.
Blake Pierce, Pat Pathetic, another Will Fry. Richard M. says, after seeing the fiasco at U-Trash Stadium, would you consider your choice to spend an hour with the Hillbilly than a Gump fan? Yeah, I think I'd rather have the Alabama fan at this point. That's a really bad look for Tennessee.
Yeah, it's
Big thanks to Corey Hamill as well. I think that catches us up. All right. It's better judgment. But it'll be fun. We'll see what happens.
You got the dump button ready?
I'll have my yeah. Thank you to Pocket Watch for the super chat. Let's see. You got it pulled up right here. Here we go. Hey, who do we have? Hey, who's this?
Hey, this is Daniel from Oxford.
Hey, Daniel, what's up?
Hey, man. Neal, I just want to, give my word to you for I feel so bad for you for the Iowa loss tonight.
Yep.
I know that hurts big time.
It was devastating.
That hurt me.
I drove to it, the bridge.
And they were ranked really high in my pick'em league and had Iowa winning, so I felt really bad for that one.
But hold on a second, Daniel. If I gave you one or the other this morning and I said Iowa can win or ULM can win today, what would you have said?
Oh, man, I would have said Iowa in a heartbeat. But I saw the ULM Liberty. I actually tweeted Neal about that when the ULM, and I said, if Neal had been the coach, I don't think ULM would have lost. I think ULM would have won a lot bigger than they did.
Me too.
I don't know. Neal would not have kicked the 53-yard field goal. That ended up being the difference.
No.
I heard him over here cussing about it when it was happening.
I think ULM would have run the score up if Neal had been the coach. Just saying.
We would have tried. That's for damn sure. I can promise you that.
But guys, like, I'm actually in a really good mood because obviously we beat Tennessee. But man, did y'all see DeAndre Prince tonight? Like, I love that kid, but man, he got burned. Like, y'all talk about the corners and they need to play new corners. He got burned tonight. Let's play some different corners there.
They played a bunch of people tonight back there. They tried a lot of different things. Guys got cramped, and I still think Miles Battle's their best overall corner.
Miles Battle is the best corner.
Yep.
He is 100%.
But he got cramped, but he had to leave, and I think he had to go get an IV. So I mean,
but DeAndre Prince, yeah, he's not playing right now. Like, he's not doing it. He gets burned every single game.
Hey, Daniel, thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Thanks, brother. Good night.
Good night.
Dave Doran win it again, 33-7 over the Eagles.
Oh, wow. Hey, who do we have? Hey, who do we have?
Hey, how's it going, Neal and Chase? This is Sam from D.C. How are y'all doing?
Sam, we're good. How are you?
We are good. We are good. Just had a two-part question for you guys. Huge fan of the program. Just after watching Auburn and Arkansas today, seeing that game coming up in 2 weeks, full disclosure, I'm an Auburn grad, but I live with two diehard Ole Miss guys, so I've been had a little bit of an in-house rivalry for quite some time here, but wanted to get y'all's perspective on that game coming up in 2 weeks with them taking it to Arkansas.
I thought Nix was terrific for them today. That was the big takeaway. He converted a lot of third downs, made a lot of really good throws. I thought Harson's got a good plan for him. I think Auburn's defense is solid. It's not great, solid. Forced Jefferson into some bad decisions. And I thought Arkansas looked a little hungover today, which I think was probably the
emotional toll from
their
last
big fear,
week was the thing. Yeah, 100%. I mean, look,
yeah, I think Pittman's done a great job. They've got a lot to figure out, but they're certainly moving in the right direction.
They just got to stop the run in 2 weeks. I mean, Bo Nix can be very dynamic at times. I mean, he can win a game himself, but I mean, if you let Tank get loose, and can't contain that with that 3-2-6. Now, Ole Miss did early on. They brought 4 pretty consistently. They did switch up some things defensively, bring a little more pressure. I think that's the key against Auburn. Because, I mean, look, that's the toughest ask left on the schedule is at Auburn that week. I think it's the hardest game left on the schedule.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be a tough one. I mean, it's going to be up to Corral to do what he does every single freaking week without any kind of letdown, and it's going to be stopping the run. And frankly, even Nick's with his feet a little bit. I mean, it's going to be all about tackling and pressure when you get the chance.
No, 100%. I think Auburn having the bye week will be interesting to see if they can keep the momentum rolling. Just another quick question for you guys, if you have a second.
Sure.
We were talking about it here. I had my Ole Miss friend about to have a heart attack there on that last drive. But what do you think the impact of Hooker going down with the injury there at the end and having to bring in the inexperienced quarterback? The momentum seemed to be going Tennessee's way on that final drive. How do you guys feel things shake out if Hooker doesn't go down with the ankle injury there late?
Well, he would have
wrapping up the game.
Hey, thanks for the call. He would have thrown it into the end zone. Whether anybody catches it or not, I don't know.
Yeah, Heupel said he would really have liked that ball to have gone in the end zone. So
yeah,
easy statement there in the press conference.
Hey, who do we have?
Neal.
Yes.
This is Rodney. How y'all doing tonight?
Hey, Rodney, what's up?
I'm doing great tonight. How about that defense coming up and back Corral? He's like Michael Jeffrey Jordan tonight.
He was the best player in the country today. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, you look at everything he did. And frankly, we get caught up on numbers, but he did snap out of some early issues. I mean, his accuracy was not great. He overthrew that deep ball, maybe the first or second series down the right side to Braylon. That would have been a touchdown had he hit it. I mean, he was kind of hyped up. They were on the road for the second time this season in a crazy environment. I mean, he steadied himself in a very mature way that last year could have led to more picks or a little more freak out or trying to do too much. And I thought he really kind of got back centered pretty quickly. I mean, that was one of the more underrated, impressive things he did today.
Man, he was just running that ball. I mean, he's tough. And I said that was a big catch. I thought one of those new receivers, wanted to make a big catch, and number 5 made a big one.
Dennis was good tonight.
Then I said,
hey, Rodney, hold on one second. Hey, Denver Reb, thank you for the shout out. I mean, thank you for the super chat. I've seen you in there. We're trying to get to you. It's really
a little chaotic.
We really appreciate it. It's a little chaotic on the screen here, but I really appreciate you very much. Go ahead, Rodney. I'm sorry.
And I said Drummond was going to make a touchdown, and he did just enough, to get us over the top. And then our defense, the line, was getting enough pressure on Hooker where he took his eyes off downfield through the game, and we was that defense, y'all. It was awesome. Neal, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we're listening. We're just letting you go for a minute.
All right, Neal, I hate to bring this up, but is Purdue defense that good?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
What did happen today?
Well, I got one more thing, fella. I thought I was going to get a week off where I could breathe. I was dreading this week. But then daggum LSU, daggum heartbeat now.
Yeah, I mean,
look. You can never take a week off.
You get Vanderbilt eventually.
Yeah, you'll get Vanderbilt and Liberty back to back. That'll give you a breather.
Hey, do y'all know is Sanders? Is he out for the year or what?
No, he's not out for the year. He's just banged up. He's got a shoulder issue and he's got a knee issue. And
who?
Braylon.
Oh, yeah.
And he just couldn't go tonight. Hey, thanks for the call, Rodney. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was Ole Miss's first win in Knoxville since 1983. I had forgot to add that as a note. I just now went back in and added
it. Denver's upset about not. Would you please say something nice about Denver, Reb? He gave us a super chat.
Denver, I think you were the first one. That's what caused us to miss it. We do apologize for that. And I think what's happened is you've done that a couple times, and we've missed you a couple weeks in a row. It is not intentional.
Nope.
I love you to death.
Absolutely.
It's just been a little bit of a crazy screen there because, I mean. I love all of you. Fortunately, a lot of them came in at once, and we only can see like the last 5. So I miss a few if they've been carted over at that point.
Speaking of, thank you, Corey Smith. He said Tennessee couldn't handle being back. Sully, the good boy in my avatar, was very happy about beating Smokey. Key of the game besides Parham, defensive stops and finally getting pressure. No question about that.
Where do we stand on Smokey as a mascot?
He's fine.
It's kind of middle, isn't it?
He's a beagle.
Yeah.
Hey, who do we have?
The dog. This is Mark.
Hey, Mark.
How are y'all?
We're good. How are you?
I'm good. I actually have like a 4-part question. I don't know that I'll get to all of them tonight. Chase.
Mark.
Chase, first question for you.
Uh-huh.
I put a post on the board earlier this week about Country Club of Oxford, like what are the secrets, what do you need to know. You didn't answer. A couple other guys answered. You didn't answer.
There were plenty of responses in that thread. I felt like it was very taken care of, and then I saw that you're playing your practice round with Walker Gary and those guys. So I mean, I figured it was all handled. There was nothing that I could have added at my handicap that would not already be known by people better than me.
Okay.
I felt like I only would have clouded it up.
That's good. So it's like, okay, they handled it. I'm not good enough.
It was also, I mean, you were playing from the threes, right?
Well, it was a mixture of tees.
Was it a mixture? Okay.
I mean, it was kind of all over. It was from 1s to 5s and everything in between.
Oh wow! Okay.
Actually, the tournament committee did a good job setting it up.
Gotcha.
It was hard today. It was really hard. The wind was blowing. The greens are weird. I have not seen this golf course since I was in college in 1997, and it was it's not the same course.
What else you got?
Okay, so second point, number 2 is really good.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, he's special.
Number 2 is phenomenal.
Probably at the top now. From just straight gamer to go win a game, Ole Miss wise, I'd rather have him than Chad.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'd rather have him than Chad. I'd rather have him than Eli. I mean, I'm only 42 years old, so I can't go back to Archie, but give me 2 over anybody. Just period. End of discussion.
No doubt. I thought tonight was his.
He's the closest thing to Johnny Manziel since Johnny Manziel.
Yeah. Well, tonight was very Manziel-ish.
Yeah, so I mean,
yeah,
no doubt.
I'm not even sure that Johnny Manziel appreciates how good Corral is.
Well, Corral's a better passer than Manziel.
Not close.
Yeah, but they both.
That's not even.
Yeah. Manziel. It's tonight was Manziel-ish. It was brilliant, is what it was.
Yeah.
What else you got, Mark?
It was so good. I just thank y'all. I do. I do. I know you got a lot of callers to get to, so I'm going to let you get to them. Neal, weird things are going on these days. You guys are doing an awesome job. I know you picked up subscribers over the last, I don't know, week or so. And it's well earned. Y'all should be proud. You should be happy for the work that you've done and the way that it's paid off. And it's kind of cool watching it happen.
Well, thanks, Mark. Really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
It means a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Be good, guys.
Bye. Trying to get to as many of these calls as I can. They're coming in fast.
If anybody was at the game, call us. I'd love to hear from anybody that was there at the end.
Who do we have?
Hey, y'all, it's Mark.
Hey, Mark.
What's up, man? How y'all doing?
We're lovely.
We're good.
I got out of it before the insanity, so I don't really have like a
When did you leave and why?
What happened? But I'm sorry.
When did you leave and why?
I was in the concourse on the 4th and 27 watching on the television, and then when they didn't overturn it or whatever, I walked out.
I think it was the right call.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, I'm sitting with a bunch of ball fans, and I'm like, no, he's short. You tell. But his knee went down. He had not extended the ball yet.
Yeah, they got it right. It was.
Absolutely got it right.
It was a fun game. What was it? As loud in person as it sounded on television?
It was as alive as that stadium's been in a very long time.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, I was there in the heyday when that place was really loud.
Yeah.
And it's not the same.
I went to a few of the games. So like the T. Martin year, I think I went to 2 games in Knoxville that year. So I've been there when it was hopping. And tonight it sounded like that.
My first game there, not to make the Tennessee call, my first game there was 98 Florida, and you witnessed something. That's still the greatest sporting event I've ever been to. When they hadn't beaten Florida in 5 years, and Spurrier missed a kick in OT, and they tore the goalpost down in 5 seconds. So it's not that anymore. But as I've said on your show repeatedly, it's the worst fan base in America, and it proved it again tonight by being totally embarrassing at the end of the game.
Yeah, they showed their ass tonight.
A lot of it's booze, and this fan base was so amped for this game. People were partying since 7 a.m.
Yeah, I talked to people.
In the stadium. It's just.
I talked to a couple people. Yeah, I talked to a couple people who were there today, and they said the last night was different. Like people were amped up. Like it was like, whoa. Someone said it reminded them of in terms of just intensity. It actually reminded them of Ole Miss LSU 03 Friday before, where there was just so much adrenaline.
And yeah, I mean they've been waiting 15 years for something good, and it's just all came to a head tonight when they felt they got robbed. And again, worst fan base in America.
Were you listening to the game or what when Milton decided to just run with the football from the 20-yard line and start throwing it into the end zone?
I was kind of watching it on somebody's phone in the shuttle next to me. But it was like 15 minutes after I left before they even ran the next play, so it was kind of goofy. I was like, they're still playing?
What was the reaction on the shuttle when that happens?
Nothing.
Okay, fair enough.
Everybody was kind of just looking forward, but y'all are right. Like in the stadium, seeing him live in person, my exact words were, "He's Johnny Manziel."
Yeah,
my exact thought.
Yeah,
it's exactly what it reminds me of.
He's and the difference is he can be a different kind of quarterback too. He can be Manziel one day, and then another day he can go be kind of Tom Brady. He can,
and I think he's got a better hose than Manziel's got.
Yeah, it's not even close. This kid's got a. I don't know if you saw it. It was just a simple little pass on a play where he was going to kind of go 3/4, and the defender kind of jumped in the lane, and he pulled it back and went overhead. And I mean, he let the fastball go. Whoever caught it has good hands because that ball had some RPM. He can really spin it. It's when I knew this preseason, I should say, when some of the idiots, including a couple in my network, wrote that he couldn't throw a deep ball. I was like, oh my God, you're not watching. Now, if you want to have, going into this season, if you wanted to criticize his decision making and okay, sure, I get it. Because last year decision making was an issue a couple of times, but his arm, no. This guy has an electric arm. I mean, if people are going to talk about Baker Mayfield, and I love Baker Mayfield for the record, and you're going to talk about Kyler Murray, and I love Kyler Murray for the record, you've got to talk about Matt Corral because he's that kind of quarterback.
Yeah, and the other dude that impressed me on Ole Miss, I think it got called back on a hold, but Henry Parish made a cut behind the line that was like, whoa.
Yeah, you're speaking.
It was there 1 second and gone in the next 1/10 of a second. Like, where'd he go? And Buston went for like 15 yards around the left side. But I think it got called back by number 0 holding, if I remember right.
Oh yeah, you're right. Pearson held on the edge, and
he made a cut on behind the line of scrimmage that he was there and then not there in a nanosecond. I was like, man, that dude's different.
You're right.
And Steve Connor was a stud, and I was sitting with an Ole Miss. I was kind of sitting next to an Ole Miss guy, and sort of telling him I'm kind of cheering for Ole Miss. And I'm like, what kind of idiot do you have to be as a coaching staff to start John Rice Plumlee over that dude?
Yeah, we've had this discussion. Yeah, for sure. Hey, Mark, thanks. I'm gonna get to some of these other calls. Thanks, buddy.
Enjoy it.
All right, bye.
Utah was down 21-7 to Arizona State. They are now up 35-21. They've scored 28 straight.
I know, I'm aware. Just been one of those days for me on picks. Whatever lead I had on picks is long gone.
Is it?
Yeah.
Everybody had a bad day, though, didn't they? Or Jeffrey have a good one again?
I'm not sure. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is William from D.C.
Hey, William, what's up?
How are y'all?
We're good.
Man, holy smokes. That game was insane. I was there. Thankfully, we made the drive up this morning. And I've never seen one. Tennessee, that was pretty cool. I've never been, and it was probably the best atmosphere I've ever been to. I've been to Bama, and I've been around to Auburn, a lot of the SEC schools, but what happened at the end, I mean, I thought we were going to have to get taken out of there with the whole Ole Miss section with state troopers or something.
So, I mean, what is going on there during all that? I mean, how widespread was it? Was it a lot of fans? I mean, how would you kind of characterize what that was like?
Every single corner of the fans was throwing something on the field. I mean, it was coming from all the way down 10-yard line all the way down to the end zone on the opposite side. There were bottles flying everywhere. It was awesome. And it was like a whole new level of disrespect for Tennessee. So, Kiffin, just about got hit in the head with a golf ball.
Yeah, that golf ball just missed Lane.
Was it okay leaving the stadium? Had it calmed down at that point? Or there was still anything going on kind of leaving?
Yeah, well, so they should have, in my mind, they should have forfeited that stinking game. They made us wait around for the longest game in eternity. But all the fans that were causing most of the problem basically left after they kept going. The police came down there and started yanking students out. And at that point, I think the fans just got sick of it and left. So, I mean, by the time that they resumed play, it was probably, a quarter full, maybe less. So, no, it was all right headed back. So we just kind of kept our heads down and got back to the car.
Well, glad you got out of there safely, and appreciate the call.
Yep, y'all have a good night.
You too.
Danny White just released a statement on Twitter. He's obviously the Tennessee athletic director. He says, our Tennessee fan base had much to be proud of. Through 59 minutes of football Saturday night, they created one of the best live sporting atmospheres I've ever experienced, but what transpired in the game's final minute was unacceptable. Player and fan safety is paramount at all times. While I'm incredibly proud of our team's effort on the field, I'm disappointed that their relentless performance was overshadowed in the game's closing moments by the actions of several fans. Okay, several, Danny, really?
Yeah, come on.
Whose actions did not represent the volunteer spirit or true character of the university. On behalf of the University of Tennessee, I'd like to apologize to the Ole Miss football program and congratulate their student athletes on a hard-fought win. I spoke with Keith Carter after the game and expressed that same sentiment to him. There is a big Tennessee push, media, athletic department members, to minimize it down to a couple people were doing something.
No.
It was a very large percentage of people.
It was thousands of
Yeah.
people. Hey, who's on the phone?
Hey, guys. It is a very, very buzzed Vibin rep.
Hey, Vibin, what's up?
So, I only watched a handful of plays tonight actually on TV. I'm about to watch a replay of the game. I saw the touchdown to Dennis Jackson, and then I saw the fourth down stop that apparently was this huge controversial call, which I didn't think it was. Was the spot of the ball on the fourth down call really that controversial?
It was. There wasn't a great angle, would be the only kind of controversial thing, but from when you kind of synced it up, it looked like, because his right arm goes over the line to gain, and you go, oh, he made it. But
and that's what threw everybody off, because if you were watching, like if you were sitting 75 rows up,
you just see the body go across.
You see his right arm reach, and his right arm probably crossed the line to gain.
But the ball's in the left arm, and it's like waist high. So they got the call right.
Yeah, well, the camera angle I saw, and look, I saw it, and I was like, oh, God, he may have gotten it. I was like, if he stepped, but I don't think I saw a good angle on the TV where it showed him clearly reaching with the ball. So,
yeah,
I mean, but I mean, if you're Greg Sankey, what do you do Monday? Are you finding them? Or
you got to find them. Their president actually was a little sharper, Donna Plowman. I just saw it come out. She says, I'm astonished and sickened by the behavior of some Vol fans at the end of tonight's game. So used harder language there.
Should be.
Well,
because someone could have gotten hurt.
Yeah.
And odds are somebody did get hurt.
I mean, I had a buddy that apparently got hit in the back with a whiskey bottle. I'm getting
well, that's not
about
fun.
It. Yeah.
Because, I mean, I had, I'm friends with a bunch of LSU fans, and they're like, oh, they're just throwing plastic water bottles. I was like, Well, Lane apparently got hit with a golf ball.
Well,
there's
look.
a Heinz mustard bottle that got thrown on the field that they're showing on the camera.
I would not want to get hit with a. Would you want to get hit with a full water bottle thrown at that trajectory?
No.
Hell, that would hurt.
Because it's picking up speed as
well,
it
I mean,
heads
if
down.
it hits you on your nose, it's going to break your nose.
It is.
If it hits you in the eye, it could do damage to your vision, and otherwise, it could just generally hurt.
And then someone tried to tell me it was. And look, I was zoned in on the last part of the game, but someone was trying to say it's just the students. That did not look.
No. It was not just the students. No way. It was coming from.
Yeah.
It was coming from
that's
all
an embarrassing
angles.
look on the conference, period.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
it was coming from all over that stadium.
I don't know if it was. It didn't feel like that was directed at Lane. It was just. I guess they were just pissed they lost a very big, close game, but it's still. I mean, it's bizarre. Like I've never seen anything like that before. Like honestly, it felt surreal. I was like, oh my god, are they actually delaying the game? Like I looked and I saw Ole Miss's players were like looking back at the stand, kind of taunting them. Which I mean, look, players do that every weekend when they go on road games. That's just part of it. They're gonna talk trash with fans, and then I noticed they were starting to come onto the field, and I was like, what are they doing? Like, because there's still, a minute left.
That's what I thought was going to happen. I actually, and thanks for the call. I really appreciate it. I actually thought, from one view that we saw, that they were going to come onto the field. Mm-hmm. You could see them down in like this concourse area, and they were out into the track area around the field. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Galen.
Hey, Galen.
Was that the longest non-overtime football game in the history of sports?
God, I hope so.
If there's a worse one, I don't want to know.
Yeah, I don't want to have another one that lasts that long. It's too long.
I'm staying in a hotel in Florida working, and at like right after 11, I've got somebody coming knocking on my door because I'm in here yelling at my TV.
So 1:30 where you're at. Ooh.
Do what now? I'm sorry.
So 1:30 where you're at then, right now.
Well, no. I'm in the Panhandle, so it's
gotcha.
Central Time still.
Gotcha.
Like when the game was ending. But in the first half, the play where Corral got sacked and it was like a fake handoff, and then they picked up the fumble and they called it back, said he was down. What happened? It almost looked like Corral thought that he didn't have the ball anymore. That was the weirdest play I've ever seen in my life.
The only thing I can think is that Matt thought he heard a whistle, or heard a whistle. And
is it possible he was trying to fake everybody out?
I guess.
Well, I mean, but it's that time the D-line gets to you and you're still holding on to the ball.
And he kind of let the ball go, like, here, take it. I mean, it was a weird play.
Yeah.
It never made sense.
Yeah. Well, hey, guys, I know you got calls on up. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Hey, who do we have?
What's going on, boys? It's Tommy from Oxford.
Hey, Tommy, what's up?
Oh, man, hell. Watching SEC football final, I guess.
You sound tired.
Oh, my God, just buzzed. That was a crazy game, wasn't it?
A little bit.
Yeah, just a lot.
Can I remind those Tennessee fans that were throwing stuff at Lane that, they did just paint his name on their rock about 3 or 4 years ago saying they wanted him back?
Yeah, and I think they'd take him back tonight, too, which is some of the reason for the hostility, I believe. Yeah. I think that was...
There's a certain kind of like...
Yeah.
A little butt hurt.
Yeah, a little shine
a little bit.
There,
yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah.
They've been through a lot since then. They've been through a ton since then.
Yeah, they could get Freeze right now. Liberty probably let him walk.
Yeah, they'll let him walk right now, man. I mean, he's doing good, ain't he?
That wasn't a good loss for Brother Man tonight. Not so much.
You know what the odd sharp pick on that game was? The pick pick was 51-1.
Was it really?
51-1.
Well, there were a 31. It was a 3,100 money line.
Yeah.
3,100.
For Liberty to win?
No,
for
for
ULM to
ULM.
win. Yeah, if you bet $100 on
30.
ULM, you win $3,100.
Dear Lord.
Yeah.
Cousin Eddie cost me about $500 today. I had a 5-pick parlay going, and I picked Florida to cover, and that was the only game I lost on the 5-pick.
Hey, those parlays will get you, Tom.
Yeah.
I know, right?
People don't usually win those things. Those gets cash money for the folks in Vegas.
Right. Yeah, boys, have a good night.
You too,
I
Tony.
figure I'd call. All right.
Appreciate you. Bye. Hey, who do we have? Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Tammy.
Hey, Tammy, what's up?
How are you?
We're good. How was your night?
Oh, it is so great. It is so great now that the Rebels have won.
I know. It was close, wasn't it?
Were you a little nervous
pretty
there towards
dramatic.
the end?
Oh, my gosh. We were in Tennessee. It was crazy.
You were at the game?
You were there?
Yes. Yes. I had a corn dog thrown on me with a bottle of mustard.
You had a bowl of mustard and a corn dog thrown at you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. You okay?
I'm okay.
Good.
I'm okay. But it was crazy. It was very hostile. And I'm glad to walk out of there alive.
Did you fear for your life at any point? Really?
Yes. Yes. I was afraid. I was scared. I mean, I'm telling you, those fans were crazy. Crazy.
How close did you get to Lane?
Oh, my goodness. I was kind of close to him. I mean, I'm going to tell you, that catch of the water bottle, it was sexy. It was sexy when he caught that.
Yeah, have you watched the
that
replay
Dasani.
like 10, 20 times? Just keep replaying it?
Yeah, I have. I really have. How do you know me so well?
We're learning more every week.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you. Oh, my goodness. But I was so thankful he was okay. You know, I mean, but then again, you know, I've got to look at my little friend Maddie, little Matt Corral.
Oh,
I feel a lot of love for him. I'm so thankful he's okay.
Right. That's
a bonus.
Not the kind of love that you feel for Lane, but more of an admiration, kind of a like a maternal love, more with Corral kind of thing.
Yes, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe a little maternal, maybe a little love.
Yeah.
Maybe kind of like a little bit of Hamlet. I don't know.
There's a lot of that,
but,
on certain sites and stuff, or so I've heard. So.
Right. But you know, he's just such a bonus. He's such a bonus.
Right.
It's a wonderful feel to have, and I'm so glad the Rebels pulled it out. Good Lord, I needed like a defibrillator towards the end.
So you already back in the hotel? You having to travel back home? What's going on the rest of the night?
No. I'm back at the Nights Inn in Knoxville.
Okay.
Yeah. We picked after we left the stadium. Thank the Lord. After I got kind of hit with the mustard and the corn dog. Thank Lord, I'm okay. I couldn't eat anything, so we picked up some Taco Bell and went on to the Nights Inn in Knoxville.
Just you and your husband?
Yeah.
He's okay with this whole.
Calhoun's probably closed by then.
He's okay with this. Is he okay with this Kiffin thing?
Thank the Lord Jesus, he's okay.
Yeah, he benefits.
He's okay.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, he caught a little snippet of some mustard on his chin, but he's fine.
Okay.
Thank the Lord, he's fine.
Well, hey, thanks for the call, Tammy.
Okay. Well, listen, hey, I want to say one more other thing.
Okay.
I'm fairly certain that I saw a picture of myself in one of Maddie's tattoos on his arm. I think he and I met at the Cavalier shop and bruised at some point in time. But I just want to say, Lord have mercy, I love Matty. And he is so fabulous.
It's going to be an interesting night for your husband tonight, so I wish you the best.
Okay, all right. We'll
All right.
see ya.
Bye.
Yeah, the Taco Bell and the Knights end's a winning combination.
Bubba, is this you?
Hey boys, how y'all doing?
Bubba, I've been trying to get your phone. I saw it ringing and ringing and ringing, but I couldn't get to it. If you could see the screen
switchboard's
here,
going crazy.
you'd understand.
Well, I tell you what, I felt like I was in a war zone trying to leave the stadium tonight. You should have heard. It was crazy. That was as hostile as I've seen it just about ever. Daddy's just embarrassed. He won't even talk. He's coming across the mountain driving about 90 miles an hour, scaring the Jesus out of me, to be honest with you. But anyway, kind of going back to White Pine, and I tell y'all what, that was the worst. There's way too many players. I want y'all's thoughts just laying down, and it's like bad acting. They're going to ruin the game. That's one thing even Daddy said on both sides. It's just they got to say if you fall down or can't get up, you can't come in for 5 plays. Well, what do you boys think?
I do think there is a fix. I don't think that all of it was fake tonight. I do think there was some faking on both sides, but I don't think all of it was fake.
I think there was a lot of cramping because of how many damn plays were run by both teams.
And the game is so long. I do think there's a fix to the faking is once you leave, you can't come back that series. I do think that's a potential fix. Cole Kublik talks about that tonight. I agree with him. I think that would take care of it. But
absolutely.
But listen, when you're running 101 and then what'd you say 79?
Yeah, correct.
When you're running those kinds of play totals, you're going to have cramping. It's not that is a ton of plays to be out there and going at that tempo and it was cooler tonight, so guys probably didn't drink as much as they normally do, and the rest. I mean, I don't think the fourth quarter for either team was faking. I think guys were genuinely getting cramped.
Absolutely. You want to say hey, Daddy?
Hey, fellas.
Hey, yeah. Daddy.
So, yeah, he's I got my headphones on, but anyway, Mary and 2 grandyoungers are in the back sleeping, so I just wanted to call y'all like I promised and say hello, and I'll talk to you boys on Thursday night.
All right, we'll look forward to it, Bubby. Y'all be careful driving back.
You too.
Ooh, didn't mean to hang up as fast. Sorry.
A quick little trigger there.
It's just one button.
Greg Sankey has now released a statement as well, said the conference has established expectations for behavior and sportsmanship, and the actions of fans were unacceptable under any circumstances. We're accustomed to intense competition every week, but under no circumstances is it acceptable to endanger the contest participants and disrupt the game. We will review existing conference policies and the commissioner's authority to impose penalties and communicate with the leadership of the University of Tennessee and all other member universities to make certain this situation is not repeated. So a big word salad from Greg Sankey tonight.
Yeah, it doesn't say much.
No.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey, guys. What a night in sports.
Well, that is who is this?
It's Jarrett.
Hey, Jarrett.
Sorry, but I don't know what happened to my voice. I certainly didn't lose it yelling at the USM game earlier this afternoon. But somehow my voice went away. But man, I mean, a walk-off win for the Braves. The Air Force Falcons taking down Boise on a pick to seal the game, and then of course, like the debacle that was the end of the Ole Miss game. It feels really good. Do you feel like we kind of won the game with defense a little bit tonight?
Yeah, sure. I mean, absolutely. They won with defense. They won with Matt Corral, and they just held on and won in a really hostile environment on the road in the SEC, and that's a hard thing to do. People forget about that sometimes, but it's hard to go win games on the road in the SEC. When you get it, they're precious.
Also, their ability to kind of fix some of the communication issues, because early in the game they were totally discombobulated at the line of scrimmage with the inability to communicate because of how loud it was. And I don't know what they did. I have no idea what necessarily repaired it, but a lot of those kind of mishaps were fixed as that thing moved forward. They still weren't great at the line of scrimmage. The offensive line is still not perfect by any means, but about mid-second quarter on, that was far less of a detriment as the game continued.
Yeah, I mean, number one, Corral was amazing. What was his final rushing total? Was it over 200 yards?
195.
195, yep.
Jeez, man, I mean, that's crazy. But if you told me going into the game we're only going to score 31 points and we're going to give up a safety, I'd have been like, oh, we lost. I mean, that's it. But, I mean, he was just terrific. But the defense got some huge stops in some places. What did y'all think about the final play of the game? Like, I thought it was weird how it seemed like, what's the kid's name, the backup, the original starter, Milton, like, he just kind of gave up on that last play. Like,
yeah.
he just ran
well, we've talked about it a little bit already. That's exactly what he did. He just I guess he lost track of the time. Hey, Jared, I'm going to get to some of these other calls, okay? Thanks for the call.
All right, do it, guys. See ya.
Seen the initial forecast for Saturday?
No.
72 and sunny. Low of 51. Kind of perfect. It's going to be a madhouse
the whole week
in Oxford. Yeah, starting about Wednesday. It's going to get crazy.
Arch Manning will be here.
Yeah, Arch was in Austin. Saw him today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, on TV and on pictures and stuff. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, it's Leif.
Hey, Leif.
So this statement from Sankey,
yeah,
I mean, where he doesn't say anything. If he wants to be Mike's Live, this is his chance to be Mike's Live.
Agree with that completely.
Because Mike's Live would say, this will not happen again. Because we all know that if you just say something without any consequences, it's incentivizing every single SEC stadium next weekend to do this. I mean, they can't just say, oh, it's a $250,000 fine, like rushing the field or something like that.
So what do you do? I mean, so I agree with you, but what any thoughts on what that would be?
I mean, what would Mike Live do? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I know in international soccer, they don't let people in the stadium. I mean, and that is a big, big punishment. I don't know if Sankey would have the stones to do that, but something has to happen because 20 minutes at 11 o'clock at night, and they didn't throw a flag. They didn't do anything. And then I was listening on the radio, and they said that some SEC officials said that a game has to be finished on the field, and that's bullshit because Kentucky played Arkansas maybe 10 years ago, and there was a lightning delay to the point where they had everybody go off the field, and it ended like in the third quarter. So, I mean, Sankey needs to nut up because this shouldn't happen again, and we're issuing statements, and I'm talking to these people and then launching committees to launch investigations. No, this is when you put on your big boy pants and you act like Roy Kramer or Mike Live.
Hey, and Leif, I'm going to take an opportunity to do two things here. First, thanks to Tyler Fitch for the super chat. He says this. He says, since this has to be said and heard, Tennessee fans had whistles in the stands. They were blowing them early. Those fans eventually got removed. That's what I think happened on that weird play.
He thinks somebody whistled.
I don't. There's no other explanation for me than Matt heard a whistle. And the whistle for Matt to hear that whistle had to be down in the decent
seats. Had to be loud. Yeah.
I wasn't there, but just kind of the text I'm getting, and I know if I'm getting 1, you're getting 20, is that they lost. And when I say they, I'm not referring to the officials. I'm referring to the police, the security, the University of Tennessee. They lost control of that stadium long before the rain of stuff getting bombarded on the field. I'm hearing stuff was getting thrown much earlier in the game.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a shame for Tennessee because this was their best environment they've had probably since the early 2000s. I mean, it was loud on TV. It was incredibly loud. My wife was in the other room, and she said, I'm closing the door. You have it up too loud. I said, I don't have it up that loud. The TV is just – there's a lot of noise coming from this game. So,
yeah.
Anyway, like I said, Sankey needs to nut up. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Leif. Hey, who do we have? Oh, lost him.
He didn't want to play.
Real Gear Online says, shocked they didn't call a delay of game. It occurred to me that stopping the game might have caused even a worse situation. I think they had to stop it, though. Thanks for the super chat, by the way. I think they had to stop it because they had to get the Ole Miss guys off the bench.
Yeah. Because the whole team, because they were getting stuff thrown at them, had to move up.
Yes.
And when they moved up, they were on the field. I mean, and then Lane gets the golf ball and goes hand it to a ref, goes, hey, look, I mean, we got a problem
all
here.
it takes is for one kid to kind of lose his cool, and you have Malice in the Palace college level. And it could easily happen.
Oh, maybe the easiest.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, someone says that Aaron Lott says reading lips on TV, a lineman told Corral on the sideline, I heard a whistle too. Had to be that. There's no other explanation. And Matt could have gotten hurt on that play. I mean, because the Tennessee guys were finishing the tackle, and Matt thought the play was dead. He says, no, I mean ending the game. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, they absolutely could have. And frankly, I think they would have been justified to end the game. Wasn't safe.
The announcer said that was one of the options, that they could suspend or rule whatever.
That's what they should have done.
Yeah.
It's inexcusable for that to happen.
I don't see any group ban at all. I just that would blow me away if that was the punishment.
UT's off next week, is that right? Yeah, they go to Alabama in 2 weeks. So they've got a little time before they play another home game, but they have to address it. Looking at the rest of their schedule, they go to Alabama, off date, at Kentucky. They get Georgia in Knoxville, South Alabama in Knoxville, and Vanderbilt in Knoxville to finish. There's ways to punish.
Corral's 30 carries. He's the first Ole Miss player with at least 30 carries in a game since Benjarvis Green Ellis against Missouri in 2007. So it's been a minute.
Yeah, Matt's going to be a little sore tomorrow. It's going to be that's going to be a tired football team first part of the week. Lane's going to have, and he's good about it, but they're going to have a real challenge about getting ready and at the same time stopping them from. I was looking to see if the
interview
stuff's up, but it's not up yet. I think we can let that one go. Hardman says, I hope Georgia murders them. Georgia will. They'll destroy them. Yeah, they won't get as – they got up today because I think they thought they had a shot, and they did. They won't have a shot against Georgia. Georgia's the best team in the country.
Yeah, I don't think they're losing.
Ole Miss Cub says the game was cold. I wondered what the temperature was.
It was in the 40s, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it's been so warm for so long that 40s feels different.
Yeah.
Let's see. I just missed a call.
So. I don't think they were going to do anything stupid with Altmaier in there. They were just trying to give an easy throw. And
God, it was almost stupid.
It was almost stupid.
It's very clear that they're going to have to get into the quarterback portal. And I wrote this in the war room that's up at the site. By the way, we extended the promo through tomorrow at midnight. So if you're not a subscriber to rebelgrove.com, you can get all of our material between now and Thanksgiving for free. Promo code ELI10 when you sign up, ELI10. I had a big war room up about midday Friday that had a ton of recruiting, including talk about getting into the quarterback portal. I don't see what choice they have but to get into the transfer portal and get a quarterback. They're going to find one that can come in and play. Because what I've seen from Altmaier, it doesn't mean that he won't one day be the quarterback, but he's not ready to be the quarterback.
No, it feels like go pluck your back up somewhere that's the dude. Or, I mean, who knows? Spencer Rattler's out there. Kid for Oklahoma started, 10 of 10 for like two?
Did Rattler play at all today?
I don't know. I don't think so. If he did, it was after the game was already in hand.
They won big, right, over TCU?
They were up big. I assume it held.
Yeah. All right, let's see. I need to put the phone lines back up. You hit the wall yet?
I mean, I've been up a long time.
Yeah, I have too.
I've had a day.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey, it's Danny in Atlanta.
Hey, Danny, what's up?
Oh, might have called the wrong number. Sorry, is this MPW?
Yeah, you're on.
Oh, okay. I had a question for Neal and Chase.
Yeah, it's us.
So talking about transfer portal, Spencer Rattler. I'm not super excited about him, but name keeps getting thrown around. What do you think?
It's way too early to say that there's anything at all to it. The only name that I've heard that I think there's anything definitely to is Jack Miller at Ohio State. And I don't know how much there is to him at this point.
Yeah, no, I didn't really quite think so either. And then I had one other question. I'll hang up and listen on this. I didn't have much of a problem with Tennessee fans, but after tonight, they kind of skyrocketed up my worst fan base power rankings. So I got Georgia, Tennessee, LSU, Mississippi State, and Bama. It's my top 5 worst fans. So I'll hang up and listen and just see what you guys think.
Thanks, Danny.
When Tennessee is good, they're the worst fans in America.
Well, they showed that tonight.
Yeah.
There's
no doubt about it.
Yeah, they earned that designation.
Yeah.
Hey, who do we have?
Oklahoma 52-31.
Okay.
We're getting into the drunk portion of the evening.
Yes.
12:51 currently.
Well, and people are calling, and then when you answer, they don't realize that you've answered.
They think we have a call screener.
I think so.
Cute.
Yeah, it's a cute idea.
I mean.
Hey, who do we have?
Yeah, I got a question. When should the Ole Miss golf course announce a range ball promo?
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Whatever you can do. I mean, you have to build off the publicity any chance possible.
Yeah. I thought that too after they threw that on the field. All right, y'all have a good night.
You too. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, it's Kinsley.
Hey, Kinsley, what's up?
What when was the last game that you've seen like this? This was incredible. I was thinking we were in Tuscaloosa in 14 or 15, but it didn't go to the final second.
You mean when you say game, like from the craziness of the fan stuff?
It was a prize fight. It was incredible.
The only games that this reminded me of was, we talked about this a little bit earlier, was Ole Miss at Arkansas 2000. What was that? 2008.
You mean with fans being idiots?
Yeah.
No. I'm talking about on the field. Just Corral willing himself. Just everything.
Last
everything
week.
around it.
Last week, 7 days ago. 7 days ago, they went 15 rounds with Arkansas.
No. This was so much more intense, I thought.
Really?
That was pretty intense last week.
I wonder if you feel like that way because Ole Miss was on the road.
Yeah.
It's not friendly at home versus.
Okay. So last week, I didn't. Okay, so this week, I felt like even if we lost, I would have been okay with it because of the heart.
Well, they showed heart tonight, too. I mean, had they lost tonight, it would have been just as heartbreaking. I mean.
No, I'm saying it wouldn't have been tonight.
Oh.
I would have been okay because we were shorthanded. It was on the road. That stadium was crazy. It was fantastic. entertainment.
Hey, thanks for the call. Appreciate you.
All right.
Hey, who do we have?
Susanna Albritton.
Hey, Susanna, what's up?
What's up, Neal? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
How's the Peloton?
Peloton's good. I did a very, very kind of laid back workout this morning.
You got like 1,000 yet?
Oh yeah, I'm past 1,000.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course you are, Neal.
Yeah.
I am. I'm at like 1,400, I think. I mean, I can give you an
I'm not
exact
sure.
number, but I don't know.
Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite?
My favorite instructor?
Yes, sir.
It sort of depends on the mood.
All right.
Like if I'm trying to get a really good workout in, it's Alex or
Oh, it's Alex all day.
one of those. If I'm just there for some scenery, it's typically someone else.
How do you feel about our defense? Do you think we were cramping? Do you think we're all in? What do you think?
Yeah, I thought they cramped for sure. They were out there a lot. Yeah, I thought they cramped. I think the defense is better. Springer makes the defense a lot better, and that's what they've been saying is that Springer would make the defense a lot better, and it did. He did. He also allowed Otis Reese to move to a different spot, and I thought Sam Williams played really well tonight. I thought Sam played with the high motor, which is what they're begging him to do week in and week out. And
Loving it. He was all in. I think he's all in.
And Mark Robinson was terrific today from start to finish. And so they actually, for the first time in a long time, they had really good linebacker play.
What kind of watch do you wear, Neal?
What is the name of that watch? It's a reactor
Is it
watch.
Apple?
No, I don't have one of those yet. I need to get one, but I don't have one. I have like a reactor watch that I wear.
He got it from.
No, you don't.
It came from
You
Lamb.
don't need that. You don't need an Apple Watch, Neal.
You don't
No,
think?
That's not. No, sir.
What do you think he needs?
You need to come to Alberton Shore in Jackson, Mississippi.
Oh.
Buy a watch for me.
Well, there you go. That's what I need to do.
Do you do yoga, Susanna? I have a reason. Somebody in the thread asked. They think they might know you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes, sir. I do yoga.
Okay.
I was gonna say,
I don't know if I'm supposed to mention. I don't know if I'm supposed to mention things like this. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. But yes, I teach yoga in Jackson, Mississippi. I don't want to sponsor things. I don't want to say bad things I'm not supposed to say.
Okay.
What bad things would you say that you weren't supposed to say?
My husband just ran in the room and said, "Don't sponsor." I don't know what he said. Cameron, what did you just say? We're gonna get blocked on all the boards. I don't know, but yeah, I teach yoga. Yes, Chase.
Okay. I will. You relayed it. I don't have to relay it. You relayed it. Just curious. Yeah.
Okay.
People helping people.
What's your
right.
username on Peloton?
Oh, I'm Susanna Albritton.
Okay.
My husband is the beast, though. He's C Albritton, though. He's the best one, though. He's the Peloton man.
Yeah. See, I don't use my real name, so I'm always curious. No, people.
Why don't you?
I don't know, because I thought it would be funny, and now what's funny is, and not that there's anything wrong with this, but I think based on the likes that I get a lot of times with my name, I think people think that I'm probably gay.
Oh my God, not at all.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just saying.
You think you're?
Yeah.
Oh, a
Yeah.
Seinfeld quote. A Seinfeld quote. I love it. No,
Just based on the likes that I get in certain rides.
it's fine, Neal.
Yeah,
Be
sure.
comfortable.
I am. I'm like that's my name on the thing, so it's kind of funny. All right, Susanna, appreciate the call. I think we lost her.
Oh,
yep.
Sorry. That was fun.
Yeah.
I think she has to be a 4%er to be on at 12:58 on a Saturday night. I'm going to say you get that designation. If
I would
that's the
think that's
case.
safe. Thanks to DJ Gregory. He says, so how come at the vault I have to tuck a pint of Woodford in my back pocket, but Neyland allows fans to bring in and throw every can of cheap beer and French's mustard onto the field? It's a good question. Big thanks to Blake Hankins for the big super chat. That's very nice of you, Blake. Means a lot. Thanks a bunch. It's really nice of you. Robert Lominick, also same to you. Appreciate the super chat.
Hey, Rob. Good to see you.
I don't. It sounds like Tennessee doesn't have rules. I suspect they're going to have some rules after. Listen, I know what Sankey didn't say there. The phone call Monday won't be a good one.
Oh, well, no.
Yeah.
And they're going to get fined.
Big time.
There's no doubt about that.
But
They're
beyond
100%.
that, they're going to be. It's not going to be a fun week. That's going to get reviewed. Those films are going to get reviewed.
And whatever it becomes.
Yeah, and it's not going to be good. Let's see.
Reading through the thread a little bit.
Yeah, I was trying to catch up myself.
I do respect people that just come in with their full name.
Yeah.
Lack of anonymity.
It's not like you have a lot of anonymity at this point, so you respect it. We're not anonymous.
No, not
at all.
a little bit.
Let's see. I need to put the number back up. There it is. Yeah, I can't say what you meant, DJ. I guess I could because it's in the stream. That word gets past the. Was Walter Nolan there tonight?
I don't know. Was he?
I don't know. That's implied in the thread. One of the bottles hit a Mississippi State trooper. Yeah, someone could. I mean, the truth is, someone probably did get hurt tonight. That just can't happen. I guess as I was watching it, I was thinking about, because I told you I just recently watched the documentary on Netflix, The Malice in the Palace, and that started because of a thrown water bottle.
Was that what kicked
Yeah,
it
that's
off?
that's what kicked it off.
There were so many times for it to be fine. And they just couldn't settle it.
Big thanks to Tyler Fitch. The whistles in the stands 100% caused Matt's fumble. Also, big win. Love it. Can we take a short victory lap around TOS? Those kids really messed up, right? From a journalistic perspective. Yeah, I'm trying to decide whether I even want to write about it tomorrow in 10 Thoughts. Part of me does, and a part of me is like, nah, just let it go. But a part of me really kind of wants to write about it. Because I'm not super comfortable with just blaming the one person. I don't think that's...
Oh, God, no.
I think that's disingenuously unfair. Knoxville, thank you for the super chat. I mean, I'm sorry, Big Reb 601 says Knoxville probably looks like the Capitol on January 6th. I don't think the Capitol was as crazy as that, except for the shootings, I guess. But that's what I kind of also wondered real quick. I also kept wondering, does somebody have a gun? Like it just felt like it was like really unsteady. Anyway, who do we have?
Yeah, James here.
Hey, James.
How awesome would it have been if Kiffin would have put on a football helmet to walk out of there?
He did get his hood pulled up. He was putting a little layer of protection there.
I mean, the truth is a golf ball from that distance would have hurt, and it just missed him.
Probably looks like the Capitol on January 6th.
Hey, turn your device down.
Shoot, sorry about that. Had a few too many cold ones, I guess.
Yeah, that's okay.
Shit.
Hey, you got to turn it down or we're not going to be able to talk. It's just...
I'm sorry, but I got to go now.
Okay, bye. Yeah. There's like a 20-second delay, and it just makes it impossible. Let's see. Hey, who do we have? Hey, who's this?
Hey, this is Ole Miss Cub.
Hey, Ole Miss Cub. You were there, right?
No. And when I said the game was cold, I was referring to the Missouri game where Ben Jarvis ran for 1 million yards.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you meant the game tonight.
No. So I just have something real quick, and I'll be off. Look, I mean, I'm just baffled by the fact that there was no in-game penalty for that. Like, that's ridiculous. I mean, the fact that they even had a chance to win that game after all of that occurred is outrageous.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, I'm just that's what Sankey needs to do. I mean, not just the fines. I mean, the fines, the average fan doesn't give a damn if their school has to pay a fine. But what do they care? It's not their money. But they care about their team winning. So, I mean, that kind of behavior needs to have an in-game penalty. I mean, the game probably should have been forfeited.
That's what should have happened is the game should have been stopped.
Yeah.
What should have happened is the game should have been stopped. When it became obvious that this was more than just 2 or 3 people.
They said that the way the rules work is to have the game stopped, it requires both ADs to agree.
Well, then they need to redo the damn rules.
Yeah.
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 Okay, yeah, right. Like, unlike their guy is going to say, yeah, sure, let's stop the game. That's not going to happen. So, yeah, an in-game penalty. I mean, I think the guy on TV said that, they should have been forced to basically use one of their timeouts, which would have essentially made it a forfeit in a way, because, they couldn't have stopped us if we had needed it on the last time. Neal it, So that's all I got to say. I just cannot believe that they still had a chance to win and damn near did almost win it there. If not that, that ball right to that guy's hand. So the fact that they had a chance to win after all of that is outrageous. Good night, guys.
Good night. I don't disagree at all.
ESPN giving Georgia an 89% chance of reaching the playoff. It's probably higher than that.
I don't see how they don't get there.
Yeah.
At this point. What I was saying is, if you look up and you realize it's just 1 or 2 people, you can get those people escorted out. But when you look up and you realize it's thousands of people, and it was thousands of people.
I keep getting asked about Rucker, and even here, I don't understand what he's so pissed off about.
What does he say?
He says, "Let's walk and chew gum here. What Vols fans did tonight was not cool. Anyone throwing stuff on the field during a game should be banned for life. It was 15 years worth of frustration vented by an unfortunately large number of people. Anger was justified. Reaction was not. What are we angry about?
No.
The call was right.
Wes is an idiot.
I mean,
come on. That's his fandom is completely out of control. Hey, who do we have?
This is Edward
Hey,
from
Edward.
Memphis.
Hey, Edward.
How are y'all?
Good.
I've got a question for y'all. So, who do y'all think y'all would take one drive to win a game? This year's Matt Corral, the best version of Chad Kelly, or Eli Manning?
Eli, still. Matt's 2, Chad's 3.
Yeah. I mean, look, we can't forget that Eli Manning twice has taken the Giants in a drive to win the Super Bowl, which is that's as big as it gets. And so
Eli would have killed for a Dontario Drummond. As Jeffrey texted me a minute ago, he was throwing to Bill and Chris.
Yeah, or even to have a
back,
a Henry Parish, and a Snoop Connor and a Jerry and Ely. Yeah, come on.
Yeah. All due respect to Tremaine Turner, but
yeah. All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Yep.
Is the rumor about the square, is that legit?
What is it?
They had to evacuate the square because of a threat or something?
Oh, I don't know.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Matt in Denver.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, I just wanted to get your thoughts on get your opinions on a couple thoughts I had, and I'll hang up and listen. Just wanted to hear what you guys thought about a few of the big drops we had. I think Drummond had a big drop. I think Pearson had some big drops.
Yeah.
Wide receivers, what? I know we got some injuries going on there. Kind of how long is that going to linger on? And then what do you guys think of those intentional grounding calls? Those were kind of crazy. So I'll hang up and just want to hear what you guys had to say.
I think the one for the safety was correct. It was definitely a throw to avoid the sack. There was nobody in the area. I told Neal just when I showed up tonight, and this isn't anything to do with tonight's game. I've seen it called multiple times in college football. I hate the interpretive he was trying to throw the ball away, even though there was a receiver in the area. I don't care if you throw it 40 rows up into the thing. If there's receivers in the area, it should not be intentional grounding if you throw it over their head. So that's what was bothering me. I hate the rule change there. I hate the interpretation of it. I mean, it's the same thing as going, hey, that's not intentional grounding because you ran the wrong route. They don't know what the hell the route's supposed to be. If there's nobody in the area, it's intentional grounding. If there is, it's not. I mean, just make it pretty simple, call it a day, and move on. That's what frustrates me about that whole thing.
The call-in number, someone's asking, 662-259-0991. I've put it up a few times. That's what she said. And, yeah, there. Kevin Hoke says Snoop was standing there for one of the grounding calls. I can't honestly remember at this point. I don't. I'm having a hard time remembering the first half of the game.
He was standing right by the one they didn't call when he kind of threw it at his feet. I don't remember him on one of the other two.
It was at his feet when Matt switched to his left hand and threw the ball.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I thought the safety was a good call.
Yeah, I had no problem with that.
Yeah.
It was fine. The other one was stupid.
Hey, who do we have?
Hi, this is Patrick from Houston, Texas. I'm at the game right now. On that last drive, I think it was like 3 minutes left to play, and Corral got hurt. Who do you take there? Do you let John Rice run it for 7 yards, or do you put Altmaier in and see what he can do? That's all I got.
Chase has been pretty consistent about this, that he would play Plumlee in that situation.
Yeah, just to make sure you get some of the main things done.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey, man, it's Marshall. How are you?
Hey, Marshall.
So, how long have you been covering the SEC?
Like 25, 26 years.
How many times have you seen a home team have to evacuate their band for its own safety?
I've never seen it before. I've never seen that before.
So when you pull your cheerleaders, your dance squad, and your band, to me, you're saying you've lost control of the environment.
Yes.
And you either forfeit or say game over.
That is a good point. When you pull your own people, okay, that's the rule. Hey, then if it's not safe for yours, it's not safe for that. I mean,
well, literally, when you have to evacuate your cheerleaders and your dance team and your band as fast as you can and get them out of there while things are being thrown on top of them, yes, you've lost control.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've lost control, game's over. And because otherwise, we can talk long-term and, reputational, but, if you're coldly rational, you should, according to what happened in Tennessee, you should start passing out sleeves of golf balls in the fourth quarter when the game's tight because, worst case scenario, your guys get 15 minutes of rest and it resets the game. I mean, I just think this was beyond a bad look. It was competitively unfair, and you allowed a team to announce that we've completely lost control of our environment. And, but we expect your guys to sit here and play.
Look, the SEC is going to get kind of crucified for it, which is going to lead, knowing Sankey as little as I do, but knowing what I know of him, that's going to lead him. There are going to be repercussions. There are going to be new rules. Something's going to come of this. It's going to be the thing where he says this can't happen again. I'm not talking about publicly. I'm talking about in their meetings, on their Zooms, his calls with Danny White, his calls with other people at Tennessee. It's going to be this can't happen again. But you're exactly.
Anyway.
But you're right. They did. They lost total control, and from the sounds of it, from talking to people, they lost total control much earlier in the day.
Right. And look, and I hear you, and I agree with that. And obviously, the random whistles are bad and awful and unfair. But that's hard to control. But when you actually say, this is so unsafe that we don't want our people here, despite the fact that our fans aren't throwing things at our people, but we think your people should be here. And, we get 20 minutes of rest to think up, a 55-second drive. I mean, it's just insane. I mean, it's frankly one of the most insane things I've ever seen in sports, pulling fandom aside. You can't let a home team say, well, we're going to let our fans get completely out of control. And as a result, we get to pause the game, until we decide that it's in control.
It's fair. No, completely fair.
It's a really good call. You're exactly right. You brought up some points I didn't even think of. You're right. Thanks for the call, Marshall.
Cool, man. Have a good night.
Thanks to Larry Joe. He says Rocky Top almost became Riot Top.
Not wrong.
Not wrong. And literally, you had at least one beat writer calling for a riot.
Literally
using
he
that
said,
word.
He said he would. What he basically condoned it. I forget what he said. I wouldn't blame you or something like that. I mean, shit.
Crazy. Thorne, I just put the number back up. Jackson State had 54,000
Saw that
people or something
homecoming today. Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty nuts, isn't it?
I mean, good for them. Sure. I didn't know you could put that many people in that stadium
I had
anymore.
no idea what their thing was. Yeah, people making fun of it on Twitter. I see Colin just did it. I mean, Danny White saying several people. Give me a freaking break.
Several thousand.
Yeah.
And the whole 15 years of frustration thing. Come on.
You hired a bunch of crap coaches.
Yeah.
The best coach you've hired since then
just beat you.
It's Lane. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was going to win. He had put together a hell of a recruiting class in that 1 year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're absolutely going to win. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, Sam in Memphis.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, I hate to beat a dead drum here, and I know we've gone here again and again, but Mark Curls and his staff, we gotta have somebody of a sober voice of reason here, because I know he didn't screw us tonight, but we go to the well every week, and it's laughable at a certain point, isn't it?
I thought today was as bad of a day for SEC officiating as I've seen in a long time. I thought the officiating, it impacted the Auburn-Arkansas game.
It did. No, he definitely. The Auburn, who's the most protected in this league, Neal, to your point, goes, it's laughable to this point. It is Auburn.
I think you're right.
I never thought I'd say that Alabama's not the most protected, but
I thought they lost control of the LSU Florida game. That game turned into they missed calls up and down the field on that game, and then once they got to a point where it's like, well, let's just keep missing them. And then obviously you saw what happened with the Ole Miss game, where
no doubt. But at the end of the day, it always comes back to curls. And at a certain point in time, somebody, in your words, has to raise their hand and say, hey, we can't keep allowing this. Like, I can't. It's laughable. Like, it was us tonight, but you can see, like, it goes back to Auburn, but you can see when it comes to curls, it's like somebody has to take control here. And hands up. I hang up and listen, but Jesus, man, he is unworldly bad. And you think somebody fix that?
It's fair.
Yeah, it's fair. And I keep waiting for them to make some sort of a decision based on all the money that's involved here to step up with officiating. Not permanent, but to do better. And they just it's not happening so far.
Somebody with the furniture company is going to get involved one day and say, hey, my money was lost. It may take a furniture company or it may take a Yellowwood, but somebody, the Yellowwood gets screwed once and there goes our money.
Hey, thanks for the
that's
call.
When we step in.
Appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you.
Y'all lasted our Utah-Arizona State game. We didn't really get a lot out of that.
No, all I got was an L out of that. Hey, who do we have?
Muted. Hey, this is Fish Oil from Pontotoc. How y'all doing tonight?
Hey, Fish Oil, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing okay. So me and just 8 of my fraternity brothers, best friends in the whole wide world, we were in Knoxville, was out there. One of our friends got hit with a water bottle. It was a really wild, and like the vitriol. I was at the game where Marshall at Auburn in like 2013, but other than that, this is the most vitriolic. stadium atmosphere being a part of. Like, they were anti-revs and throwing stuff and talking all sorts of noise. And I tell you what, it was just as wild as it could be. And once again, the security was fine, but talked to our friend, but it was unbelievable being there with 100,000 people and having one there. So we'd love to hear your thoughts about it, because my friends are worried. I was not. And I mean, am I a great fighter? Sure, but that's not my identity. And yeah, I can fight, I can throw, but it just, there were a lot of people, but there was a concern about safety because golf balls, water bottles, stuff, because we're near where the locker room setting was. So people are throwing stuff. It's wild. Anyway, I'll hang up and listen. It's just incredible atmosphere. We're in Knoxville. We made it home. The Rebels won. Just unbelievable. So I'll hang up and listen. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks for the call. I'm wondering if they even put Kiffin's. I've got Kiffin's comments, but I don't have the video.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure we'll run it down, but
yeah, it's somewhere. No one's staying up at 3 a.m. to watch the video. It'll be somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they just were like, hey, if it was so chaotic, it was just, let's just do this. And I don't know. They had to have a Zoom though, because traveling media can't.
Team.
Yeah, traveling media can't go. Do you see it on the Ole Miss site? Have you looked?
I did not. Hold on.
I mean, it's no big deal. Hey, who do we have?
Yeah. No one's taking.
Hey, who do we have? Yeah, you're on.
All right.
Who's this?
Thomas Dillard.
Hey, Thomas.
Hey, Thomas. What's up?
How's it going?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. Just had a quick question.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
Hey, Thomas, turn your device down. I think
so good. I wanted to see how we felt about the running back situation with Henry Parish and Snoop and Jarian. I just want to see how we stood on that.
I thought they used Jarian in spots there today. I mean, it looks like though they can, they put Snoop. I guess because Snoop technically got the start. He got a little more traditional carries. I feel like they're using Parish more out in space. I mean, I think Lane has finally figured out what he wants that rotation to look like a little more, or Levy, or whoever you want to give the credit or the responsibility of that to. It just still seems like Ely's on a bit of a pitch count. They did get him out wide a little more today. He was in the slot a couple times at least over the course of the game. So I think he's a complete space guy a little bit with Snoop getting more carries. It still feels like, though, they trust Parish the most in pass pro and in catching the ball in the backfields and things like that. I mean, from an every down back, they've really leaned on Parish. I mean, right, Neal? It looks like that's kind of where this thing's sitting, and they're using everybody else kind of situationally.
Yeah, I think they view Parish as their most complete back because of what he can do in the passing game and also what he can do in pass protection. Hey, you got to turn that device down. That's what's causing the delay, Thomas. Yeah, I might have to hang up on him. It's a 20-something second delay. I hated to hang up on him, but he was.
Yeah, I was hearing it twice.
He was 30 seconds behind. Yeah,
it's all good.
I put up Lane Kiffin's post-game transcript. I'll search for video later. Hey, who do we have? Hey, who's this?
Charlie.
Hey, Charlie.
Listen, guys, the way y'all just completely dismissed and disrespected Fischel. I mean, he was in there just bleeding over the line for y'all, and y'all just ignored him.
We took his call.
We've officially hit the drunk part of the night.
It's 1:23.
Yeah. You got any final thoughts? We still have 524 people on. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's a win on the road.
What was the most we had tonight? Was it 900 at one point?
Did you get up there?
I know it was 800 something. Like right at first. Next week it's a 2:30 game, so it'll be a little more sane. Oh, that's going to be a crazy week.
Doing Eli's thing this weekend. Arch will be in town. The whole deal.
Square Jam Friday night. Got something in your eye?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm all right.
Yeah, they said we got to 900.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I know I saw 860 something, but I was trying to, there was no way I could keep up with it.
Yeah.
Doors Rules says 888.
It tells us at the end, but that's not, until we get there, I don't really know what to see it.
Larry Joe says 889.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, fun week, good week. I mean, the last two games could have gone either way, but the way they are, it makes for a hell of a time as Ole Miss and LSU.
Daniel says CBS game, though, it'll end at 10.
Well, it's not completely inaccurate.
They actually, the two CBS games today went pretty fast.
Well, they were running the ball, but yes.
Yeah, but it was, yeah.
I plug in fine. No, Neal's the one that said, "Do you have anything else?" That's why I dropped my headphones there.
I'll sit here and go, but
yeah,
it is 1:25 in the morning.
Yeah,
yeah. A couple of people. Boo Boo Defoe says we definitely got past 900.
Okay.
Maddish says we got to 902. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Jack from Tupelo.
Hey, Jack.
I was saying, this is Pearson. He was number 0. He kept having all those drop balls, and not to beat the Plumlee drum too much, but do you sub in the next guy up, or why were? And I saw we were at the game, and Kiffin went up and talked to him and gave him a pat on the butt. Why was he so committed to him? And do you not go to the next guy? Was that the scheme, or
I mean,
why would they not?
I don't know that Plumlee can run the whole offense out of the slot. I think they have things in for him and they have packages in for him, but I don't think he can run the whole offense out of the slot. Like, I don't think he could go run 70 plays. I don't. I could be wrong, and I don't know that, but I'd bet on it as opposed to Pearson, who I think could. I think he knows the offense and what he's doing, and he just had drops.
There were just some crucial drops.
Yeah. Look,
that one that could have changed the whole game.
Sure, they're super thin at receiver when you lose Mingo and then you lose Sanders, and I mean, you think about how big of a part of the offense Sanders was a week ago, how big a part of the offense Mingo was before he got hurt, and now they're both out, and then you take out Chase Rogers, who's a big part of the offense. Listen, you get really thin. That was my whole premise to my column. That was the one thing Lane Kiffin before the season kept saying is we're not as deep as I'd like to be. And frankly, today, kind of Corral got you enough and your defense did enough. But going into this week and going into Auburn and stuff, I mean, they've got to figure it out with who can get healthy. And I mean, I'm sure that they're praying that Braylon can play.
Mm-hmm.
They had to get him out tonight because he just couldn't go. They gave it a shot, and he just couldn't go.
He wasn't himself.
And they did the smart thing and got him off the field.
No, yeah, it was just the drops were a little concerning.
Sure.
I mean, they got to have. Yeah, that's all I got really.
Okay.
I mean, Plumlee wants Plumlee to play, but I mean, they got to have some other guy, and I guess Plumlee at this point would seeing that on the field. I mean, he doesn't have a future here, so. I mean, that 0 couldn't. I mean, Plumlee's not a better product than that. He's not playing for the Rebels.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Hey, who do we have?
Dalton Markle.
Hey, Dalton. Turn your device down.
Just wanted to hear how big of a difference Jake Springer made today.
He was huge. It was a massive difference maker.
Put Otis in the right place, did everything. I mean, him not being hurt probably changed the outcome of the game. There, when we thought there might be a knee situation
Oh yeah,
on the ground.
Because I thought he'd popped an ACL the way that. Yeah. All right, I'll take one more. It's 128. We'll go to 130. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, I'm just curious. What's the latest with the NC Porter? Can you give me a update?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, we've all been following it. We just want to know. What can you tell me?
I mean, he's been let go by 24/7. he did not.
He did not join the
He
other
did not
guys.
join the on three guys, and we apparently are going to play this song and dance of he's the only person that's to blame, and he's not. But David Johnson's running the 247 site, and at this point it's Ben Garrett and Chuck Brownsville running the on three site.
And Yancey technically is still doing Rebel Yell Hotline.
Yeah. And so I guess he'll do his show on Monday night, and
we'll see what he says.
That will be interesting.
Yeah, that's fair.
My suspicion is that he will not talk about it.
Yeah.
My suspicion is that he will be told that he can't talk about it.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, because the people that own that show are pretty tight with Chuck.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think blaming Yancey for that in its entirety is wrong. And yes, I did see them cheer Corral's injury, and that was
something.
That was crappy.
Yeah.
It was a big night for Ole Miss. They survived a road game in the SEC and got it done, and learned a lot about themselves, I suspect. And on the other side, it was a bad night for Tennessee.
Yeah.
On a night that could have been really cool for them. Like, how do you explain that to recruits? I mean, how do you tell recruits, oh, no, this is a great place to be. This is a safe place to be. It's tough. I actually agreed with Danny's comment. 59 minutes, it was really, really good. And 1 minute, it was really, really
when
bad.
it wasn't, yeah.
Yeah. David, thanks so much for the super chat. Appreciate you doing that. And we will stop there. It's 1:30 in the morning Central Time. So it was a fun night. Appreciate you guys being a part of it. This show will be available for you to watch on YouTube. Don't forget, we have a promo that runs on Rebel Grove through midnight, I guess, tonight. So for another 22 and a half hours or so, promo code ELI10, ELI10. So enter that at rebelgrove.com to get our content free through Thanksgiving. We'll be back on Monday morning with another edition of the Oxford Exxon podcast and get you ready for another week of building up for Ole Miss football. Ole Miss and LSU next Saturday at 2:30 on CBS. We'll have the MPW Digital pregame show to you sometime late Thursday like we've been doing, and then the postgame show after that game next Saturday. So until Monday, thanks for being a part of our night. Thanks to everybody, and talk to you later.